When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my swagger, it's time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come straight like a boss. Ain't you chicken heads, know I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no breaks now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Bitches always tryna flex. I ain't got no time to deal with the pussy ass stress. I got my middle fingers up, telling all these haters I don't really give a fuck. I ain't got time for fakes, you motherfuckers are just stupid and fucking lame. I'ma sit on my throne while I laugh at your kinda lame. Y'all a fucking joke, crazy in the head, but you call me insane. I'm the queen in this game, you all just pawns standing in my motherfucking way. Better take a step back, bitch, you hoes really don't know how to act. I'm about to be stacking up the paper, about to be getting my cash. Telling all of you bitches so you know that you kiss my ass. You dirty bitches staying broke. Got hit by gas, and you still looking like a joke. You try to step it up to my level, you ain't hoes, no you ain't even close. Your game is weak, and everybody knows. You keep talking all the shit, meanwhile, baby, all I feel is that drip. All you do is drip. Sorry, salty bitches, I got to go. It's time for you to man up. I ain't playing with your crows, you hoes can't keep up. My ass left you in the fire, smoke-filled dust. Bitches, stand up, you got left in the nasty, crusty rust. When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my swagger, it's time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come straight like a boss. Ain't you chicken heads, know I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no breaks now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. When I step in, the bitches start to clap. Ain't no biting my tongue, ain't no holding back. Showing all my swagger, it's time to hit the gas. Let's show these hoes how to work with class. I come straight like a boss. Ain't you chicken heads, know I got the shit on floss. I ain't hitting no breaks now, there ain't no looking back. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack. Tell it to your mother, you bitches are fucking whack.
My 22-year-old daughter mysteriously vanished almost 18 months ago. Today, we are not a whole lot closer to answers about what happened, where she went, where she is right now. The last thing that she said to me was, "I love you so much more." I've had a lot of requests recently for the full story, all the sordid details. I used to tell the story once a week, and then I realized that doing so was re-traumatizing. So I've stepped back from that. But I'm going to do it today. I am Jennifer Santinello. Layla Santinello is my only daughter. If she were here, she would be 22. There was a lot going on when she vanished. Just a few months earlier, I had learned that she was using certain substances and struggling with substance abuse. Just like a month earlier, she and I were in court because I had applied for temporary custody of her daughter, who was 2 at the time. In fact, the day after she went missing, we had a court date scheduled that she obviously didn't make it to. On Friday, June 23rd of 2023, Layla, who was staying with her boyfriend, who lived with his mother and his brother, had an argument. I don't know if it was with her boyfriend, his name is Michael, or with another family member. Like, I've heard different stories about the argument. It was like a big blowout, and she packed her stuff and she left. On Saturday, June 24th of 2023, around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I was fixing supper when I got a text message from Layla's account on the book face. But it wasn't Layla. It was Michael, and he was looking for her. The thing about that gets confusing is people don't realize that Michael and Layla were sharing a phone because a few months earlier, Michael had been arrested and he had Layla's phone on him. And he had left his phone with her back at the house because he didn't have any minutes or internet or anything on his phone. You could only use it with the Wi-Fi. So he took Layla's phone, which was paid for every month by my mother, and went out and did whatever he did, got himself arrested, and the phone was taken in as evidence. So for a few months, the two of them were sharing a phone. So me getting a message from Michael on Layla's account wasn't something that was weird. It happened a lot. He would message me from Layla's account, or Layla would message me from his account, because they just used whatever account was pulled up at the moment to communicate with me. Anyway, Saturday night, I'm cooking dinner. I get a message from Michael, and it just says, "Do you know if Layla is in jail?" I have questions. Why would she be in jail? Why is she not with you? These two were connected at the hip. You never saw one without the other. They had serious, codependency issues. I started to panic. At the time all of this was happening, my niece was living downstairs in my basement. She also struggles with substance use. She was clean at the time. I had helped her detox a couple months earlier. Moved her into my basement with the idea that we would get her moved out and into sober living. It didn't happen. That's a whole other story. But she was clean and in my basement at this time. So I went downstairs and I showed her the text message, and I was like, "Can you look on your jail app thing?" She has an app where she can see who's been locked. I don't know. And then call around, see if you can find Layla, because she dealt with a lot of people that my daughter was dealing with. We couldn't find her. Not in jails, not in hospitals, not with friends. Sometime Saturday night, she messaged me, but I had gone to bed. I woke up to her message Sunday morning, and I had a short conversation with her. She said she was staying with friends. She was fine. She seemed upset because I was worrying about her. She didn't want me to worry. And the very last thing she said to me was, "I love you so much more." These text messages that I got from her would later be proven to be 98% for certain from her. We know of where she was on Sunday morning and who she was with and what device she used to make the messages, and it all lines up. It was definitely 100% her. So at this point, I feel better. I figure she's going to call me at some point and tell me what's going on. She was very short. She didn't seem to want to answer my questions, but I knew that Michael could see her messages and how she was interacting with me. So I was asking her to give me a full explanation of why she wasn't with Michael. They had a very toxic, yucky relationship. And I was hoping her leaving his premises meant that she would eventually come to her senses and come home. At this point, I'm feeling good about the situation, honestly, until Monday morning rolls around. I get all of these terrifying messages from Michael, her boyfriend, and he is going on and on about, "You don't know the terrible things that could happen to her out here on the streets, and she doesn't need to be out there on her own," and just laying it on thick is how I took it. Like he was trying to manipulate me into finding her for him. Yes, Michael had also been in
Sorry, I was muted. Hey, Debbie, how are you? I have to ask, why are you asking that? Is it because of my live yesterday? I'll tell you what, scroll in. I was muted. I was. I'm not no more. Can you hear me? Here we go. Did they block my fucking mic again? Okay. Just asking. Okay, because I'm waiting for the trolls to come in about yesterday's live. And the only thing I'm going to address today to that live, or at least right now, is please make sure you watch the whole live. Make sure you watch my chat. Make sure you watch who comes into my chat, because somebody from my own personal life comes in to confirm the things I've been saying. So I think it's important that you see that. Okay. And I'm good. I hope you're good, Debbie. Thank you for being here. But the reason for I'm getting ready to light one up. But the reason for going over Layla is because I had a conversation. I can't get into my Facebook right now. I've been blocked for 180 days. I have no access to my attorney or to my friends that were helping me. So we're pretty much back at square one till I can get in touch with them. But It shouldn't take long, number one. Number two, yesterday before I was blocked, these people don't even understand what they're blocking. They're such assholes. But yesterday before I was blocked, I had a conversation with Layla's mom in my messenger. It was brief, very nice woman. She was very nice to me. Um, she told me keep fighting and don't let people silence me. But what I want to say is she had no clue that Six Up. I did see your post. What did you do to be thrown on Facebook? Oh, I just attacked my whole fucking neighborhood. Probably the girls that think they're the biggest and baddest of where I grew up at. They think they run shit and they're actually quite criminals. And one of them confessed to harming my mother in one of my comment sections yesterday. And all of this does connect the people down in Summer's case. So believe me or don't, it'll come out one day. I don't know if it's why Summer got gone, but it's definitely why my father's businesses are running with his death, which is a whole nother criminal freaking element to that area. And I cover true crime. The name of my channel is Crystal's Crime Conversations. I don't only cover Summer. As you see right now, I'm covering Layla. I've covered many other crimes on my channel, and I will continue to do some. And there is a crime being held against me that connects to Rogersville, Tennessee, where Summer went missing. 100%. There are companies in my father's name all over America. I have family connections down there. People can believe me or they don't have to believe me. It'll come out in the end because I'm going to tell you what, whoever's running Guy Schutzius, my father's companies, you're going to fucking prison. I promise you that. And anybody else you were fucking connected with. That's a fucking promise. And as you see, I have the right people on my side, even though I'm fighting with their family at the same time too, because they're a part of this. Confirmed in my chat yesterday. Please make sure you watch if anybody has a problem with that or wants to call me crazy. Okay. You met her? Who did you meet? Dippy. Oh, Layla's mom. Okay, so let me tell you. My conversation with her was this. I had sent her a live to Six Up because Miss Santanilla did not know that Fred's sister had stated that she found Layla's clothes in her home. So I showed that to her. She was upset. I would like to know why people in Summer's case, such as Ryan Finds Truth, who watches Six Up closely, didn't tell Layla's mother about this video. That's disturbing to me. I do understand this woman is going through and trying to get everybody she can get to help her. I don't believe Ryan Finds Truth intentions are pure. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to it. This woman wants to go to him for help. That's her prerogative. It doesn't give Jody Sue a right to go on there and trash and add her name to Layla's case, because that's what she did the other day, and it was quite fucking disturbing, in my opinion. So I just want you guys to listen to this. But more importantly, what I want you guys to listen to when she's talking about this is the story that had changed. She couldn't come out and tell the real story, everything at once, because the police had asked her not to. So it tells you how the police work. Number one. Number two, another thing I want you to listen to is the Cash App stuff. It's so strange to me. And I'm hoping the police was able to locate the account that was doing this to her. I think Layla's story is important. You know, she was last seen by the AmeriCorps, which is where Fred Hill's sister worked, which is also where I have been, in my opinion, connecting a pedophile ring. Not only a pedo ring, but a human trafficking ring that connects from here all the way to New York and south. That's not something I'm going to go put out, but I will tell you that I have witnessed the same ring with my own damn eyes when I had gone looking for my sister. I've been in talks with another woman that I can't get to. I just remember her further. Sarah, if you're listening, please call me because I have no access to Facebook. But this woman was researching these rings and had a lot of information. I was hoping to get her on my panel and speak with her, but again, I'm blocked for 180 days from my Facebook. I have no contact with people I was in contact with. Yeah, Dippy. This woman has the funniest thing about it is I was talking to her, and she had told me that there are several streets named Ben Hill in different states, and that there's actually a ring that I want to look into with a man named Ben Hill who has been convicted that may be a relation to Fred and them. I don't know that for sure, but it's research I wanted to look into. However, I can't now because all my research was taken from me when I was blocked from Facebook. I have to start over. So I'm just going to start doing that. I'm just going to research it on my own without the information this lady gave me. What I didn't clip, I did clip some of it. So I should be able to find some of it. But this is definitely something I'm going to be looking into further. Okay. And I also asked Miss Santinella to reach out to that lady. So I hope that she did, and I hope they connected, and I hope some information gets spread through them and it helps bring answers for Miss Santinello. Okay, but let's listen to her because I think this video is extremely important, and there's a lot of missing people in Kingsport and in that area. It's quite scary. Layla's story needs to be told just as much as Summer's. So does Holland's and everybody else that's missing from that area. And all over United States, really.
Contact with Layla's biological father in New Jersey, and he was also laying it on thick and same type of manipulation tactics. Layla's grandmother and I had been in touch all weekend about all of it. Layla's father and I had a conversation on Monday night, which would have been the 26th, and we were talking about, like, what do we do? Do we call it in? Do we make a big fuss about it? I had concerns about doing that. I was afraid that if we made a big public fuss about it, if she were hiding, she would hide better, for one. I also thought if somebody had her and we made a big public fuss, they would do something and get rid of her, if you catch my drift. I also didn't want to upset her. She and I weren't really in the best place.
Wait, I have one more thing to say. I find it extremely hysterical. They changed Tennessee Property Viewer. I'm a little bit of an idiot. It's going to take me a while to figure out how to use it correctly again. But I tried to look it up and was unable to find what I was looking for. But I also want to say with Ryan Finds Truth, I find it extremely freaking comical that he goes to a street on purpose with no reason for going there, not telling anybody the reason for going there, to two streets named Stanley and Renfro, but Renfro is spelled different. Listen, asshole, let me fucking tell you something. Karen Renfro wasn't always a Renfro. She was a child. And if my father had anything to do with that area, let me fucking tell you this. It wouldn't be named or near Renfro. I mean, it might be if she knew the husband's family, but I'm pretty sure Karen and this man didn't get married when they were like 12 years old, 10 years old. So please, sir, save me the fucking bullshit and trying to fucking call me out and get me agitated, because that's exactly what you did. And I'm going to kindly tell you to go fuck yourself. Stop it. Quit playing games in Summer's case. My opinion. I'm allowed to have it.
And I was afraid to embarrass her or to upset her. I was used to hearing from her early in the morning. She always knew that I was getting up and I was alone and could focus solely on her first thing in the morning. And that was generally when she was getting ready to lay her head down. So I said to Dad, if I don't hear from her by 8 a.m. tomorrow, it'll be a full 48 hours since the last time we spoke. And then we'll call it in together tomorrow. At this time, I thought that there had to be a full 48 hours to report adult missing. That is not true. No. If the law enforcement tries to tell you that no, that's not true. No. You report immediately. Fuck if you're going to embarrass somebody. That's what I've learned. I go to bed. I had to work the next morning. Dad can't sleep. He goes ahead and he calls the station, more or less just to find out, do I need to wait 48 hours or can I go ahead and report this? They say, yeah, you can report it. He files the report from New Jersey, and detectives show up at her boyfriend Michael's house sometime in the middle of the night, 2 a.m.-ish. Michael was home. So was his mother and his brother, and they all seemed very willing to cooperate.
And motherfucker, let me find out my dad does have some ties to that land. That means you trespassed and I'll be pressing charges on you. So keep playing.
Cooperate and to deal with the authorities and do what they needed to do. Michael seemed concerned about Layla. At 2 o'clock in the morning on June 27th, an investigation into my daughter's disappearance had begun. The thing we didn't know is that she had not yet actually disappeared. Because what we found out later is that while her father and I were having that conversation, my daughter was at the AmeriCorps Hotel in Kingsport, Tennessee, acting crazy, acting a fool. I don't know how else to describe it or express it or explain it. She was acting a fool, acting out of her head, acting.
Fred's sister works at the AmeriCorps. I want you guys to remember that. That's where Layla was, acting crazy, acting out of her head.
Paranoid and afraid, and people tried to help her and she refused the help. At some point she was seen in the laundry room, cowering and hiding. At some other point, law enforcement pulled into that parking lot and witnesses saw her run from the laundry room through the courtyard and into the woods behind that hotel. So at 2 o'clock in the morning.
So at 2 o'clock in the morning, Layla's at this hotel and something happens to her that she starts running from this laundry room in the AmeriCorps. I would like to know who was working that day. That's what I want to know. Was Karen Elliott working when Layla Santinello went missing? Because it was reported she was acting out of her head. She runs. Something terrifies her. And she runs from the laundry room of the hotel where Fred Hill's sister works.
When law enforcement was questioning her boyfriend, she was in the woods behind the AmeriCorps Hotel. But we didn't know that yet. On Tuesday, the 27th in the afternoon, I had a conversation with the head detective, Detective Claire, and he told me that he saw Layla on camera at the AmeriCorps Hotel the night before. So he knows for sure she was there on Monday night. At this point, he and I both believe she's still holed up at the AmeriCorps. This is Tuesday afternoon. The next morning, we had court at 9 a.m. I went to court and fully expected my daughter to show up. And when she didn't, that was the first red flag. That's not like her. Not at all. But I'm thinking maybe she's on a bender. Maybe she's hooked up with some guy and she's just too far gone to realize what day it even is. Wednesday afternoon, a witness, had given us the hotel room number that it is believed she was in on Monday night. I called my ex-boyfriend. My current boyfriend was at work. My ex-boyfriend helped me raise Layla for 7 years. So they were still very, very close. I had Nova Grace and she was only 2 at the time. And I wasn't going up there to this seedy hotel with a 2-year-old banging on doors, So I called my ex-boyfriend. I said, hey, can you go to the hotel and knock on the door of this room and see if Layla's there? yeah, absolutely. He says, what do you want me to do if she is? And I said, well, you can try and bring her home, but if she doesn't want to come, I want you to lay eyes on her, take her, get her some food, get her something to drink, whatever she needs. I'll send you money if you need it. Whatever, make sure she eats.
Hearing this story breaks my heart. Only because I have family members where I've wanted to go lay my eyes on them just to see that they're okay. It's not a good feeling, and my heart breaks for this mom. Layla's story needs to be shared more. Her picture needs to be shared more.
Make sure she's hydrated, make sure she's safe. That's all I need you to do. He says, okay. He and a buddy go up to the hotel. The buddy goes up to the second floor and is banging on this door while Mike, my ex-boyfriend, is sitting in his car watching what's going on with the buddy on the second floor. He sees Michael Thompson, Layla's boyfriend, and two other individuals. Sort of the way he described it was like they came out of the shadows, as if they too had been staking out the hotel and that particular room. From what he said, Michael approached him and said, hey, I've been banging on that door all day. Nobody is answering. I had the cops down here. I tried to get somebody to break the door in. They won't do it. Then this group of 5 people spends the next 4 or 5 hours, the next however long there was daylight for, canvassing the area, more or less, talking to witnesses. There's a walking, hiking, biking trail that runs behind the AmeriCorps and into town. There's a bunch of strip malls and all kinds of shops and things that run along it. They stopped at all those places asking questions. Have you seen Layla? This, that, and the third. At some point, they all meet back up and they share what they've learned. And Michael Thompson says that Layla was seen by men at a warehouse behind the hotel, and that she was also seen at the Marble Slab Creamery by an employee. And the employee said that she was barefoot and disheveled and upset, and this person offered her, sustenance, gave her some ice cream and a drink, and gave her a safe haven for a little while before she left. When this information is relayed to me, I'm also told that Michael Thompson seemed to be not in his right state of mind at the time. My ex, Mike, says, he's out of his mind right now. He's definitely not sober. I don't know what to believe and what not to believe. And so these things this information he gave to us, we just kind of threw it away. It's useless. He is not going to tell us the truth about anything he knows. Time continues on. At this point, we're posting and trying to get attention on her and letting people in town know, hey, she's missing. If you see her, please let somebody know. We're putting up flyers. We're doing the social media stuff, and we're getting feedback. We're getting, people are giving me different tips and leads. On this particular night, I was out putting up flyers and following up on tips and leads. I was in the parking lot of a hotel with one of Layla's friends who came along with me. He didn't want me to be alone out here doing all this.
The mama just shared the poster, so I want to make sure I do too. And I'm going to read it to you. I want to put this poster out here for you guys all to see and share. Go to my community post. I will right now repost it so that it's the first thing you see if you want to go do this. Layla Santinello, there's a $7,000 reward. Missing since 6/27/23, 20 years old, blonde hair, brown eyes, 4'10", 135 pounds. God, she was tiny. Layla Santinello, 20 at the time she went missing, was last seen on June 27th, 2023, at approximately 6:15 a.m. in a field next to AmeriCorps, located at 1900 American Way in Kingsport, Tennessee. She was last seen wearing a white tank top, black leggings, and no shoes. She has many tattoos, including Roman numerals on her collarbone and Nova Grace on her left forearm. If you have any information, please call TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Just make sure you get a good look at that, and I'm going to go back to the mom.
Stuff. And we were just about to go into this particular hotel. It wasn't the AmeriCorps, it was the Travelers Inn. And I get a text message from Layla's dad's girlfriend in New Jersey. And she says, I just got a Cash App request from Layla's Cash App account. And she sends me screenshots. I immediately go straight to Cash App and I'm sending money. I'm sending $1 here, $2 there, and I'm asking questions. Layla, baby, you missed court. Where are you? Are you okay? And the person on the other end is acting like they're Layla. Mom, I just want to come home. Please send the money so I can come home. And my first initial response is, well, I need to hear your voice, sweetheart. I need to hear your voice. I'm not sending a fucking dollar until I know you're okay. Eventually, the person talking to us stopped sounding like Layla. And now they're claiming to be her kidnapper. And they're saying terrible, terrifying things. Send the money or else. Send the money or we're going to find her in pieces on the side of the road. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. We contact law enforcement, who at first doesn't take it very seriously. But when it continues for days and days, and the amount of money goes from $100 to $2,000 of worth of requests, that's when they're like, okay, we're going to try and trace this and figure this thing out. Where is this coming from? Like,
it sort of bothers me that there's a missing child reported missing for days, maybe weeks. I didn't hear the timeline on that correctly. But she calls them and says, I'm getting cash apps. I'm getting requests for cash apps. And now they're getting serious. And the police didn't take that serious at first. They didn't try to locate where that phone was. That's what bothers me. They could find out who was logging into her cash app account. Why isn't there answers for that? Or at least the location of it? Don't you think? Hey, little Dev. Hi, Dakota. Thank you for that. I will. What is John Todaro connected to? Is it Layla, Summer? Can you give me a little details behind that? But it amazes me that they didn't trace the Cash App to try to find out where Layla was when there are reports of her being missing with the police department. That bothers me. I'm sorry, and I'm going to say something about it. They should have immediately looked into that Cash App. The TBI should have immediately looked into that Cash App. Why didn't they? Or did they and we just don't know? There should have been an arrest made, in my opinion, if they would have done that from the go. That's just my opinion. It should have been traced. Her phone, the logging in activity should have been traced.
who's messing with y'all? Does somebody actually have her? That kind of stuff. Towards the end of July, it starts to sink in for me that she's really, really, truly missing. She's not just playing around or hiding out or on a bender. Like, she's missing, like vanished. At the 30-day mark, the detective reaches out to me and says that he needs to come by and see me so that I can give him a swab of my DNA that they can put in the national database so that it can be tested against Jane Doe's nationwide. I think that's when it really hit me. At that
Moonshine Girl, she was 20 when she went missing. She would be, it's 2005, that was 2023. So she would be probably about 22 now. And she's still missing. She was 20. That's young. Beautiful young girl. Full life ahead of her. She was tiny. I just read her description. God, I pray they find this young lady someday for this mom.
point, they had not tracked down where the cash apps were coming from either. And that's right around the same time that I really hit it hard on social media. This is the time where I was like, screw it. I created a GoFundMe, I planned a vigil, and I made my very first TikTok video about the situation. By August 3rd, Layla was considered a missing and endangered young adult. Alerts went out and the local news started doing stories on her. August 5th was her 21st birthday, and we held a candlelight vigil. Layla's father came into town to attend that vigil. And on Monday, which would have been the 7th of August, we sat down with law enforcement and they told us everything that they knew. They did believe that Layla was seen by those warehouse workers the next morning. They believed that she slept in the woods all night long. Maybe not even slept, just maybe stayed in the woods, hiding out. She was seen getting up and coming out of the woods, crossing a football field, long field. She walked over, saw these men gathering outside of their job on their way into work. It's like 6-7 o'clock in the morning. She approaches them, tries to bum a cigarette. Nobody smokes. She's very polite. Thank you so much. She goes about her marriage, but she's walking towards the greenbelt, that walking, hiking, biking path. She doesn't turn around and go back towards the hotel. Then they tell us that they do believe she was seen at the marble slab around noon to 1 o'clock later that day. And they went with that whole marble slab theory for months. They were trying to figure out where she was between being seen that morning and later on at the marble slab. The woman who was at the marble slab had made a phone call. They were tracing that phone call. They were calling the person on the other end. That person was saying, like, I don't know a Layla. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know Layla Santinello. I don't know what's going on. What they were able to eventually discover is that the young woman at the marble slab resembled my daughter, but she was about 5 inches taller. She was barefoot. She was wearing a white tank top and black leggings, just like my daughter. She was blonde, brown eyes, but she was a different young woman who was fleeing a DV situation and ended up on the back porch of the marble slab. They were able to corroborate this multiple different ways. Definitely wasn't Layla at the marble slab. But for like 3-4 months, we believed that she was. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out where she was. In the interim, I was begging people for camera footage, people to check their dash cams for that day, like all the things. When we were finally given the information that the marble slab was not a good sighting, it was like a gut punch. Like, it really kicked my ass, I'm not gonna lie. And then they had the audacity to be like, we don't want the bad guys to know that we know that that's not a viable sighting, so we're gonna need you to continue saying that her last scene was the marble slab creamery. So I do. Around the same time as the vigil and all that fun stuff, the Cash App requests were traced. The address that they traced back to was none other than Layla's boyfriend, Michael Thompson's address. They believe it was his device, his Wi-Fi, his address, and that he was just trying to manipulate the situation to make some money off of us, which in and of itself is devastating and heartbreaking. They were able to obtain a warrant for that residence, and they spent, 16 to 18 hours raiding that home, collecting evidence. The entire time they were raiding the home, they had Michael in for questioning, but they didn't really get much out of him. At some point, Michael was polygraphed, but it came back inconclusive because he was using substances, and that affects all the things. So in February of 2024, Michael was indicted for the fraud and the Cash App requests and all that stuff. When he was arrested, there was a press release explaining to the public that the Marble Slab Creamery was not a viable sighting, and that Michael had been arrested, and that multiple searches had taken place. And they had, I forgot to mention that, like, in that first month, no, it was after a month, it was like 6 weeks in, they did some big grid searches along the Greenbelt, behind the AmeriCorps, and they've done some smaller searches in different areas since then. As of today, law enforcement does have a theory as far as what they believe happened to Layla, but they don't have any physical evidence to back any of it up. They don't even have the physical evidence enough to get a search warrant for certain properties that they would like to search themselves. All they have right now is hearsay and some witness statements, possible witness statements. You would be absolutely fucking shocked to know like how many people implicate themselves without ever actually being a part of a thing. I do not envy these detectives. Not in the least bit. So there it is. That's the whole story. You're welcome to leave your questions down below, and I will try to answer the possible. I miss my girl. I've been here almost 18 months now, trying to share her story, her case details, her face, and let the world know that she is missing. And the longer I'm in this, the longer I'm doing this, the more I realize that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of missing persons actively right now, new ones every day, and it absolutely fucking blows my mind. And I have to wonder, what's so important about my kid? What about this person's or that person's, or I don't know. It's so hard. I wish there was more I could do for people.
Okay. Now, I would like to skip into Jody Sue. I, in my opinion, understand what Jody Sue's saying. Okay. I get it how she doesn't like these games, this, that, and the other. However, Layla's mom never asked her to give her opinion. And I think it was extremely rude that Jody Sue is trying to put her 2 cents into Layla's case and add her domestic violence to it. I actually think it's kind of grotesque. I think Jody needs to stop. So we're going to listen for a little bit just how Jody does this. She wants all the attention or something on herself for all the missing people in her area. Jody, if you know something about Layla, you should say it, because you know what? I will give that to Prayer Garden. She's right. You did say prepubescence when it came to Andy that you found the pee on his phone. You did say a trunk full of prostitutes or girls that somebody wanted Andy to buy. We do know that your family member worked at the AmeriCorps. I have other things to say, but I can't right now. I hope one day that I can. I just want you to listen to how she adds herself to missing children's cases just because Ryan, who I don't like neither, but I'm not going to attack him because that would be like attacking the mother of the missing child, who is just going to every extreme she can to find her missing child, not only for her, but for her child's child and other family members. Do you understand that, Jody Sue? So you can, when you do this, it's like attacking the mother. You can attack Ryan all you want, but you put your DV into it, you're disgusting. And I don't care how many tears you cry. This was gross. And I'm going to say something about it. I ain't covered you in a while. I really ain't even been listening to you fucking spew your bullshit. You and Marlena over there fighting. We have to ask, why do you have so much bad blood? Which, by the way, I don't know how long I'm going to be live. My husband's probably going to wake up soon. After he does, I might come back and go over some of the shit you're saying that I've missed, because I don't understand the fighting between you and Marlena instantly. And what's this shit about Marlena saying that there's a truck that Andy's driving with your name on one side and Andy's on another, written in vinyl. Lime green vinyl made with a Cricut, probably. I do that. Anybody want one, hit me up. I'm just saying. I have questions now. We have things to go through, and we're not going to listen to this very long. I just want you to see what she did. I really just wanted to get Layla's face out there today and let you guys know that I've been in contact with her mom and what I've done to help her mom in the ways that I can, and to apologize to her for Jody Sue's grotesque attack. Fucking bitch face. Hey, I just found a song. It's called Cunt Face. It might be my favorite song now. I should listen to it again. It's been a couple days. Right, thumbnails? Because I'm crazy. They all know now. Okay, so let's go ahead and play this.
Often his image or him online being listings we see. And by we, still mean the children. And those getting close when it is not the other. And it affecting our lives in real time. His presence here locally and this close and online 24 hours a day is not fun for us. The shenanigans.
Jody, here's the problem. There is no law against Andy being on YouTube. Now, I'm not sticking up for him, but you are on YouTube way more than he is. You are on Facebook before YouTube way more than he was. We see videos of you making him sit in a car while you get on there. Like, listen, there's always two sides to every story. I definitely 100% believe that you and Andy were in a toxic relationship and there was domestic violence between the both of you, if you ask me. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to it. However, I think Andy had the strong hand and beat the fuck out of you quite a few times. We've seen the pictures. We've heard the stories. Andy has admitted to it. Okay? But you can't go online attacking him and then saying he's on there, we can't stand to see his face, because at the same time, you're on here every day talking about him. Like, you can't come online and talk about somebody and expect somebody that you're no longer with and haven't been with since 2021 to not defend who they are today. Like, that's just my opinion on it. And I think it's disgusting that you get up here and say things like this, like me and the kids have to look. No, your kids ain't looking. You're looking. I don't see your kids on lives talking about looking at their dad online. I mean, as far as I know, you say your daughter does art. They should be busy. They're probably watching TikToks, age appropriate for things that they like. Your son just had a baby. He lives out of state. So I don't see them causing a fuss about it. And you really do look ridiculous when you say things like that. I and my kids have to look at him online. No, I have video, and I'll pull it up again. If you pulling your daughter out of bed to come look at something to attack somebody, you are no better. You harm your children by making these accusations. You cause tension. You and Andy's problems are you and Andy's problems. Let your kids and Andy solve their own problems together. You're no longer together, right? You got some cowboy you met at the fucking gas station and shit, right? Come on, girl. Let it go. You look ridiculous doing this shit. You look desperate, really.
He and all of his tragedy pit crew get up to online and to target us. It's not fun for us. Last night, Had a really good evening with Little most of the day together. We are already aware of the other video drop with Ryan and his favorite abuser of women and children.
So, to really get at Little, girl, I wish it was legal to come punch you in the face. It's not, so I won't. I can't make the threat, but my emotions make me want to. Very much so. I never would, though. It's not a threat, it's just my feelings. So, to really attack Littles, at the request of Layla Santinella's mom, Ryan and Andy go looking for Layla on Stanley and Renfro property. Fucking, you can't make this shit up. Okay? And Jody is going to blame it on they did it to attack Littles. Not because they were looking for a missing child, but they did it because they wanted to attack her daughter. It was really to stick the nail in, to really hurt her daughter. Did you hear? Let me go back a few seconds. We'll go right there.
Last night, had a really good evening with Little
Oh, get even.
most of the day.
What does he have to get even about, Jody? And why are you putting that out there? Like, are they having are they talking in the background? Because according to you, y'all don't talk to him. What does he have to get even with your Little about? That he has to really go search for Layla to hurt you and your Little? Please explain that to me.
Together. We are already aware of the other video drop with Ryan and his favorite abuser of women and children, Andy B over there.
It's disgusting.
Whom Ryan has helped further abuse and target the survivors and attempted survivors of this man with to get access to properties and do all these other things. And with this group for years to help not only our monster, but
Look, I don't like Ryan and I don't trust Ryan, but it really concerns me that Jody Sue flips out every time he gets access to somebody's property. She acts like she controls all of Beach Creek, all of everybody's property. Don't let Ryan on there. Like, Jody, you know what that's doing? That's proving you say you have you, I, me, and the others all the time. The others, the others, the others. Well, as far as I could see, there's a whole lot of others allowing Andy and Ryan to go search those properties, which tells me that you're not really talking to others, but Andy is. Please share Summer's picture. Please share what the TBI put out there. Jody, you have yet to do that. Not one single time. Every couple months I come out here and I say to you, can you please share Summer's picture? It worries me that you don't share the facts. You demand everybody else come out here and share the facts. But you have yet to share the one fact that TBI has put out, the Amber Alert. So if you really care about Summer, please share her Amber Alert with her updated photo. Thank you.
Him, his wife, and her imaginary magical spirits for his need for fame. While he's obviously a whole ass con. Many of y'all know that. He's a fraud, bullshit. He's built. There's proof and evidence of it. Everything about this dude's a whole lie. Just about. He'll use anything for a step up about like any other.
You know what?
Including
I can agree. I have very big questions about Ryan Fine's truth, huge ones. I can definitely agree with what she's saying. However, what I cannot agree with is that this woman is going to any means anybody who's searching to look for her daughter. She's in talks with Ryan. She talks to him. Jody, you can't get on here and go, oh, Ryan's a con just to get somebody to not look for somebody's other missing child, young adult in the area. What you're doing is you're trying to get people not to look in certain places, no matter who the person is. And, I didn't watch all of Ryan's videos. I watched maybe 5-10 seconds of it, 30 seconds. I need to watch them. But he's also over there, oh, we're looking for Layla, but here's Summer, stuff about Summer on property named Renfro and Stanley. Lion Con. I agree. However, Jody, in my opinion, I feel you work with the same ring you get on here and attack to try to protect yourself from something. I want to know about this black truck. However, Marlena, I would like to see proof of the black truck. You can't come out here and just expect people to believe things you say without proof. Everybody on YouTube has been asked for receipts. You're going to be no different. So please, Per Gordon, ask her to show receipts of this. I believe she did say somewhere in that interview that there was video or something. I would like to see it. Yeah.
helping a known and admitted and proven child and woman abuser. Further abuse, target, harm those who still attempt to survive.
Jody, why people suspect Andy? You get out here and you say he didn't do this, he can't do that. Let me tell you something. Children or humans that can harm animals, you keep saying child, and now you're throwing animal abuse into that. So people that do that, actually, a whole lot of them, if you go look at psychology reports of people that sit in prison today, have harmed children and animals in their childhood or in their past. So that's what makes people think that Andy could be part of something. It's because you say things like that. Just because you don't say Andy harmed Summer, when you say things like that, you're giving him a sort of persona, if that makes sense. And it's the kind of like profile that the police would build if they were building a profile on a criminal. They would include those things. Go look up what a criminal profile is. I think you should, because that's why Andy continues to get attacked, because of these statements. And that's why we have to keep looking at Andy. Thank you for that. I will continue just because you continue to say this shit. Okay?
That's what Ryan will find himself to in order to keep stepping up. I had a fairly good evening and day yesterday with Little. We did all the things. And then last night, here's another video drop featuring abuser. Glenn said one more.
Okay, I'm not going to be in chat. We're going to go to Chat GPT a minute. Jody, I'm going to school you just a little bit, and actually AI is going to school you just a little bit, okay? What is a... Damn it, my cap locks. I always do that. What is a criminal profile? I think they made it so it can read it to you now. Let me see. No. Okay. Offender characteristics, age range, gender, race, or authentic, which you are. I can't say it right now. Sometimes inferred based on case patterns, occupation, level of education, social behavior, loner, charisma, controlling. You make comments on this constantly. It's human nature to want to go investigate things like this. When you make comments about his social behavior, was he a loner? Was he controlling? You say that he beat you. You say that he wanted to pew buildings with lots of people in them. Do you understand? Okay, hold on. Mental health issues. You say he has mental health issues. His personality traits, is he manipulative? Is he paranoid? Is he thrill-seeking? Is he the impulsivity or planning? Does he use substances? You have accused George Andrew Bernard Jr. of selling substances to Candace for the children at the Wells house. You also made a statement referring to that it wasn't weed, and then you backtrack and say that it was weed. Okay, hold on, let's go back. Criminal patterns of behavior, victim type, age, gender, vulnerability. You have put this man in a position where he was with a truck with a bunch of prostitutes. You have told us that this man likes young women and looks at porn of underage victims. You have told us that he can harm women, children, and now you've added animals to that list. Do you understand, Jody? These are the things that the police look at. So when you say them online publicly, you have to expect the police and the public to look at those things as well. You put Andy in that position. You can't come online, say these things, and then say, but he wouldn't harm Summer. Because these are things they look at when a criminal makes a criminal act. Please understand that. And I'm not going to go fact check. Actually, yeah, I will. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys how to fact check. Okay. Method of operation, how they commit the crime, luring, attacking, disposing of evidence, signature behavior, unique actions done for the psychology, satisfaction, posing the body, leaving notes. You say he left text messages. He does things on holidays. He always comes around on holiday days. Those days are keys to him. See, Jody, those are things they look at. Level of organization. Is it organized or disorganized crime? Well, they're going to look at his criminal past where he sold more than weed and got busted for it because it's in his criminal charges that he was charged with and did jail time for. So that adds to it on top of the things you say. Geographic profile, likely home or work area based on where the crimes occur, his travel habits. So they're definitely going to look into calling his job and getting him on camera in the gas station and all the things the other people say. So that's why people comment, because people say those things. His comfort zones, they're going to look into forensic considerations, DNA, fingerprints, clues, his weapon of choice. You have said that he likes guns. His parents give, or pew-pews, sorry. His parents give him pew-pews. I have seen evidence of pew-pews, R15s in your home, and pictures you've shared on Facebook where there's one sitting in the background. You make statements that he would be willing to pew pew up a public area and harm people. See, these are all things that are normal for people to look at. They're called criminal profiles. Whether you're covering true crime, whether you're a FBI agent, a cop, whether you're a TV personnel that covers true crime, whether you're a newscast broadcaster, this is the things that you say. That is exactly what people look into, and you're on here trying to tell people not to do that. So I have to ask why. Evidence handling, do they clean up or leave chaos? You say he's very chaotic. They're usually used by FBI, behavioral analysts, local and state law enforcement, profilers, and investigative rules. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go, can you please show me some evidence for fact checking that this is what they look into? It's going to search the web. Profilers access factors such as age, gender, race, education, social behaviors to narrow down potential suspects. Psychological traits. Analyzing includes examining mental health issues. Okay, so this is the one we want to go to. Oh, it's forbidden. Hold on. A lot of times these links don't work. So, hold on. That's when you're going to go back and you're going to say to ChatGPT, you gave me links that have no access. They are forbidden. I am trying to show this now live to my audience on YouTube. Can you give me something to fact check with them now live? This is why ChatGPT gets on my motherfucking nerves. Okay. It's from the FBI. So ChatGPT is not cooperating today. They're being assholes. So we're going to go here and set instead. And let's put, what is a criminal profile? That's why you have to fact check everything. I actually like profiling evil. It's a 5-minute video. Let's watch. I'm going to come back to chat.
Is I've created a series, and that series includes investigative techniques and strategies. We'll explore them one by one. We'll start with a little video where I'll talk a little bit about it. Move on to the next segment. For those of you who want to, who's responsible for a crime, or is it just a wild guess? If you've been around for a while, thanks for your support. But either way, Please make sure that you've clicked on that like and the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you get all of our informative videos like this one. Let's talk profiling.
Hi, Helen.
Psychological profiling is often referred to as offender profiling. On Hollywood sets and in most conversations, it's more often called criminal profiling. In its most simplistic form, criminal profiling is the analysis of a person's psychological and behavioral characteristics. It's not the mystical, magical voodoo that Hollywood would want us to believe. It's just one more tool to assist an investigator in solving crimes. Now, sadly, the profiling process is more effective with serial predators and in crimes where there are multiple episodes to examine to get the similarities that are there. Traditionally, law enforcement investigators rely upon the 4 forms of evidence. You know what they are. I mean, they look for physical and forensic evidence. They conduct interviews and get eyewitness statements to the crime. And when suspects are identified, they hope to get a confession. Now, in cases such as a homicide where the body hasn't been recovered, they'll lean upon circumstantial evidence. We're going to talk about all these forms of evidence later in another segment, but I wanted to just overview that. Now, a profiler, on the other hand, spends a great deal of their time looking into the offender's behavior. They're not only interested in who the victim is, but they're really interested in why did this person become a victim. They explore where the offender and the victim come into contact with each other and where the crime is committed. This is called the initial contact site. Now, profilers examine what an offender may say to the victim, but they might also be more.
That's not really what I'm looking for, and he's going to skip through. So here, let's go to this one here.
Inside the mind of a killer. What is criminal profiling? You're at a crime scene. The air is thick with tension and every detail matters. Blood, chaos, and a million questions. Who did this? Why? What drove them to commit such a heinous act? Criminal profiling helps answer those questions. It's a method used to understand the unknown perpetrator. It's like putting together a puzzle, but the pieces are clues left behind by the killer. Each piece, no matter how small, is crucial. Profiling isn't about reading minds. It's about understanding behavior. We look for patterns in the chaos. How did the killer enter the house? What did they take? What did they leave behind? These details tell a story that speaks volumes about the perpetrator's actions and intentions. This story helps us understand the killer's personality, their fears, their motivations, their state of mind. Are they organized, sloppy, angry, powerful? Each trait gives us a glimpse into their psyche. The answers help us narrow down the suspects. We can start to see a profile emerging. Criminal profiling is a tool, not a crystal ball. It guides us, but it doesn't give us all the answers. It's not perfect, but it can be the key to unlocking a case. It provides a direction, a way forward in the investigation. By understanding the mind of the criminal, we can anticipate their next move, prevent future crimes, and bring justice to the victims. It's a meticulous process, connecting dots that seem unrelated, but together they form a picture that can lead us to the perpetrator, helping us to understand not just who they are, but why they did it. Ultimately, criminal profiling is about seeking justice. It's about giving a voice to the victims and ensuring that the perpetrators are held accountable for their actions. The Profiler's Toolbox, Techniques for Unmasking Evil. Profilers use a variety of techniques. One is victimology. We study the victim's life. Who were they? Who would want to hurt them? We also analyze the crime scene. The way a crime is committed tells us a lot about the offender. Was it planned or impulsive? Was the victim tortured? Another technique is psychological profiling. We look for patterns in the killer's behavior. This helps us understand their motives and predict their next move. We also use forensic science. DNA, fingerprints, and other evidence help us link the crime to the perpetrator. Connecting the dots. How profiling aids in solving crimes. Profiling helps investigators prioritize suspects. It can tell us if we're looking for a stranger or someone the victim knew. It can help us develop interview strategies. Knowing the offender's personality helps us ask the right questions. Profiling can also help predict future crimes. If we understand the offender's motives, we might be able to stop them before they strike again. It's important to remember that profiling is just one tool. It's most effective when used in conjunction with other investigative techniques. The Mad Bomber, Profiling in Action. In 1940, New York City lived in fear of the Mad Bomber. The city, bustling with life and energy, was suddenly gripped by a wave of terror. For 16 long years, he planted bombs, terrorizing the city. Clues were scarce, and the police were often left baffled by the lack of evidence. Desperate for a breakthrough, the police turned to psychiatrist James Brussel, hoping his expertise could shed light on the bomber's identity. He meticulously studied the bomber's work, noting the precision and care taken in constructing each device. The bombs were not only complex, but also showed a high level of technical skill, indicating the bomber had a background in engineering or similar fields. Based on his analysis, Brussel theorized that the bomber was a middle-aged man, meticulous in nature, and possibly foreign-born, given the unique characteristics of the bombs. He even went as far as to suggest that the bomber might be wearing a double-breasted suit, a detail that seemed oddly specific but would later prove crucial. Brussel's detailed profile helped narrow down the investigation, providing the police with a clearer direction and renewed hope. Eventually, their efforts paid off. George Metesky, a disgruntled former employee of Con Edison, was arrested. His capture was a significant breakthrough. Remarkably, he fit Brussel's profile perfectly, even down to the double-breasted suit. This case became a landmark in the field of criminal profiling, demonstrating its potential to solve even the most perplexing cases. Section 5. The Trailside Killer. Unveiling a Monster. The 1980s, San Francisco. Hikers were being murdered in broad daylight. Panic gripped the city. Who was the Trailside Killer? The FBI was called in. They studied the crime scenes. The killer was highly organized, choosing remote locations and leaving little evidence. The profile, a white male familiar with the area, likely a hunter. He enjoyed control and felt superior to his victims. The profile led investigators to David Carpenter, a man with a history of violence against women. He was convicted of multiple murders. Section 6. The Night Stalker's Reign of Terror, A Profile in Darkness. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, terrorized Los Angeles in 1985. His crimes were random and brutal. No one was safe. The FBI developed a profile, a narcissistic sadist driven by a need for power and control. He enjoyed the fear he instilled. The profile helped police understand his motives. He wasn't just killing, he was playing God. This insight helped predict his movements. Ramirez was eventually caught, thanks in part to the profile that helped mobilize public vigilance and focus police efforts. Section 7. The Green River.
I'm just going to stop it there. Not the one they just showed, but the one before that. Did you hear where they said he had a history of abusing women? Jody Sue. So when you come online and you put your business out there, you have to expect that people are going to look into it. Again, it's called criminal profiling. Lots of careers, I guess I could say, use it. Not just the police, the news, television broadcasts, anybody making a documentary. So you need to fucking chill. If you don't want us to say shit about Andy, then you need to not say shit about Andy. And I think it's a little too late for that. But let's go back to you spew your shit about Layla just for a little bit here. Because I am going to get off of here shortly.
Toby Mayer looking like some hero of women and children. The missing. We all know better. Many of the creators know better. Many of y'all heard from the beginning. It's no different than Marlena and Fred, and all they wanted was money, and they didn't give it actually. I mean, I don't know where Marlena and Fred are as family members there, but You know, I know for him, many have heard him say he didn't give a shit about summer. All he wanted was money. A whole audio of things like that. Proof of it as well. So did others.
Like, she actually tagged Layla's mom in this. Look at this. She actually, you know what? I'm not even going to listen to no more, because that right there, what I just highlighted, shows you how evil and sadistic this bitch is, in my opinion. She actually tagged Layla's mother in this so that she could listen to Jody Sue spew bullshit or put her domestic violence into this. You know, Jody, you're local to her. Miss Santinella wrote me back seriously in less than 5 minutes. Why couldn't you reach out to her privately? Because I told her she should watch out for Ryan, that I have concerns about him. She didn't quite reply to that. And I appreciate that, because I know she's looking for her daughter, and I'm not going to go on an attack. But I did that privately. Why do you have to come out here, fake cry, act distraught, complain about them going to land, people giving them access to land to search for missing people, and then tag Layla's mother in it? Do you think that's really what people want to hear when their child is missing? I don't know if that's what Miss Santinella wants to hear. She didn't tell me that, but I could imagine it's not what she wants to hear, especially when I'm telling her about this right after I tell her about Fred's sister saying there were clothes falling out of the ceiling or found in a house that belonged to Layla. And then she works at the AmeriCorps. I mean, I think this shit needs to be questioned, especially just because you're doing this. If you thought I wasn't going to come out here and say something, you're sadly mistaken. I think you're disgusting. The grift is twice as profitable as the victim and a monster. Not even, yeah. Well, and I do got to say, Jody hasn't collected money since she's been extremely attacked for it. But she did come out here not asking for little bits of money, but big money. Like, she wanted her son to have a cabin. It wasn't, we need clothes because our abuser kicked us out and we were unable to get things, or we need food because I have no income. No, it was, she wanted art supplies for her daughter. It was wants, not needs for somebody who's a victim. That's disgusting. Yep, I agree, Helen. But before I get off of here real quick, just let me go back to I want to do this one more time, since this really was supposed to be about Layla, and I just can't stomach to listen to Jody Sue like that. Let me read this one more time to you guys and get Layla's picture out there. Layla Santinella, there's a $7,000 reward for anybody leading to information. They want you to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. She's been missing since June 27th of 2023. She was 20 years old at the time of her disappearance, soon that summer to turn 21. So she would be, what, 23 now? Layla Santinello, 20 at the time she went missing, was last seen on June 27th, 2023 at approximately 6:15 a.m. in a field next to the AmeriCorps, located at 1900 American Way in Kingsport, Tennessee. She was last seen wearing a white tank top, black leggings, no shoes. She has many tattoos, including Roman numerals on her collarbone and Nova Grace on her left forearm. These are the photos of Layla. Please go to my community post and share them. Let's get her face everywhere. That's right, Moonshine. I agree with that. If you left him, then just leave it be. Let sleeping dogs sleep. It's over. He's no longer with you. But again, share Layla's, she talks about, yep. I can't disagree with that. All right, guys. Peace and love. Share Layla's picture for me, for her mama, for her child, for her family, for everybody that loves her. Get her story out there. I think Layla counts too. And I think I want to share Holland soon too. I'm going to take some time to get some of these other faces in Kingsport out. There was another missing girl I haven't seen anybody cover yet. So there's quite a few missing people in the Kingsport area. It's shocking and scary. And I don't know why they're not being covered like Summer. Probably because they're not children, but they count and they have children. All right, guys. Peace and love. I'll see you all in a few hours. I'm going to I want to go over some of the Jody and Morlena stuff I haven't listened to, so I'm going to do that with you guys. All right? Yep. Agree, Moonshine. All right, guys. Talk to you in a few hours. Bye.